Alright, TPOT 21 recently came out as the third big BFDI theater release, so it feels only right to dive into the main content of the episode and the unique elimination it presents. So yeah, no need for a big introduction for a quick review, let's just get into TPOT 21. We open with a nearly 10-minute long scene that picks up directly after TPOT 19, and I want to highlight this opener because it stood out to me the most in a great way. Seeing Grassy reclaim his strength and wander the dead quiet hotel as he slowly gets used to a tougher way of living, while Two is trying to get out of their rut while also revealing the elimination numbers works really well. Like, there's a lot of time to cover with the extended in-universe gap created by TPOT 20, and I respect how this episode tries to explain what was going on during that longer time period. This episode tries to address a lot of stuff actually, like Fiery and 8-Ball meeting David and Dora, the kidnapped crew, X and the post-splitters, plus some bonus Match, Ruby, and Bubble content that I'll go in depth on later. But just because I respect the episode putting a bunch of eggies in one basket though, I think it does create some problems in the pacing department with how the progression and balancing of the side and main plot lines is very clunky here. On their own they may be all well and good, but when slotted into a whole episode, it leads to some scenes feeling unneeded even if they aren't bad, along with some choices I'd call questionable, namely in how underexplored this elimination is. Again, I enjoy the blunt and somber reveal of the votes, but because Bottle and Tree aren't recovered here, I worry that we won't get much time to see them react to getting eliminated, or to have a satisfying send-off in the wake of another elimination next episode. I would have liked to see them be recovered, regrown, reforged, I don't know how you make glass, or tossed into the black goop for a little time to shine, and learn they got out to make their exits more impactful. Yet because of those mini plot lines that this episode still has to cover, there is no time for either of them to be brought back, and I find their absence here to be a lame choice. As for how I personally feel about them being eliminated though, I'm definitely more bummed about Bottle's widely expected exit, while I feel fine about Tree leaving. I would be more detailed, but I don't want to get way off track, and I actually plan on making separate videos about both of them. So let's just move on to Two's Bust Down This Damn Door challenge. It's a simple one this time around, and while I could see the argument that it's out of place, I think the basicness of the challenge gives some needed breathing room for Team Alive and the episode to have a good tonal mix of being funny and serious, even if it does introduce some more questionable lows in between some great moments. And starting on the positive side, Live fighting the bugs with Fiery Jr. and the Force works nicely as a lighter part of the episode. I could nitpick about how I'm still unsure the direction Jacknjellify wants to take Lai, and I don't really get the logic of her ignoring the challenge and forgetting she has the door key because
I forgot, okay? Today has been a lot.
But hey, I think her banter with the Comedy King, aka Fiery Jr. here, was great, and it made their scenes a fun time. Nitpicks be damned. Two's conversation with Price Tag, on the other hand, was great for very different and much stronger reasons. I mean, we've barely seen Two since TPOT 15, and I thought the connection between them and Price Tag served as a good exploration of Two's character, with how they've dealt with loneliness before, and Gady being erased resurged that old sorrow, leading to their depression. It also smooths over some of the gaps created by TPOT 20, and overall, I don't have any complaints with this chat. Like, it's really good. But my problems spring up once again when we get to golf ball, tennis ball, book, marker, and winner, since they simply don't get to do a whole lot. Winner only gets some attention just after the opening scene, before not doing much in the challenge, and the rest of this underbaked crew aren't recovered till halfway through, before immediately splitting up in an episode that already feels overstuffed by mini events. Their scenes are still fine, but end up feeling tagged on. Like they're only here because the Team Alive and Team Dead setup needed more Alive peeps to be put up for elimination, and their out-of-place inclusion contributes to the major weakness of the episode, trying to pack too much in. Still, their antics, along with those primary plot lines, carry us towards the end, and along the way we reach that free smart stuff. Now, when I discussed TPOT 18 6 months ago, wow, in that non-competition episodes vid, I defended the choice of not making Match's reunion with Bubble and Ruby a super dramatic or serious scene, because Bubble already wanted to forgive her in BFB 12, and the problem was more so that the show spent 2 episodes hyping their reunion up for a total anticlimax. I still stand by that opinion. But seeing what they briefly did here makes me happy that we'll probably get some big free smart stuff later down the road, with how Match empathizes with Pencil in being scared or lonely, after being trapped in the exit, like how she felt before approaching Bubble and Ruby. It's looking to be real interesting, and it leads us to the fun climax of the episode that brings everyone together before Golf Ball secures a W for Team Dead. We've practically reached the end of the episode now, so let's talk about this tricky elimination. We have 7 characters, 2 who will be getting out, and while I've missed the mark with some past predictions, I totally clocked both Bottle and Tree's eliminations, so here's hoping I stay accurate. Coming in at first safe is a character I'd be shocked if he wasn't first safe, and that's Grassy. He's been super popular even before all the big focus he's received in TPOT 19, and his prevalence at the start and throughout this episode makes me think he'll have absolutely no trouble surviving here. Second safe is a little harder to call, but I think having an important conversation with 2 will make Price Tag the second one safe. They've always had a quieter fan base, and given how they've been second safe in every single elimination they've been in, I'll trust the pattern and say they will be fine. At third is a bit of a sleeper pick, and that's Winner. Without context, I would have said they could be in trouble, but they've always done really well in voting, even after smaller episodes like TPOT 16. They could still underperform, with how they really only shine in one scene, but again, they've done real well in smaller episodes before, which leads me to believe that Winner will be all good. So we're down to the bottom 4 now, and to make things interesting, I'll call one of the eliminations right now, because I think Marker is doomed. There is a chance that all the Death Pact fans will rally behind him, and he'll for sure benefit from fans believing he's in danger, but given how small his role in the episode was, and how stacked his competition is, I wouldn't get my hopes up for his survival. That leaves us with Book, Lie, and Tennis Ball, and honestly, I could see any of them filling the second elimination slot, but upon looking at their previous votes, I think Tennis Ball will be 4th safe. He's done well in all of Bag's eliminations, even after a string of smaller episodes, and has always had a strongly underestimated vote base that has kept him around in the wake of a growing hate base. Still, he's never faced an elimination against other characters with quiet vote bases, like Grassy, Price Tag, and Winner though, which I could see leading to a decrease in votes that would be big enough to get him sniped out, but then again, his consistency is very undeniable, so 4th safe he is. Now we just have Book and Lie, who are both very interesting in terms of votes. Lie has always been weird in voting, doing great in her debut vote and TPOT 14's elimination, while looking to be in danger and surviving over TV in TPOT 19, but still being bottom 2 against Bottle, even after going full Doomslayer and raising hell in the hallway. Book, on the other hand, did really well in TPOT 19, but her votes have always been up and down, with a fair amount of bottom 2s. She's also confirmed to be a BFDIA finalist, which, while also considering Lie's way bigger role in the episode, big vote gain from TPOT 19 despite still being in the bottom 2, and the chance she's been splitting votes with Penn, gets me thinking that she'll pull through, meaning Book joins Marker as my pick for the other elimination. With that prediction all laid out, we've now fully reached the end of the episode. That leaves us with a puzzling mystery of if Fanny got erased or somehow recovered. So, my overall thoughts? I'd call TPOT 21 an episode I'm mixed on in some areas, but positive on in others. The major weakness of how its structure tries to cram in too much, that leaves some characters in the dust, is at odds with a banger opening, good primary focuses, and a fun climax that culminates into an episode I'd call good, but not great. In fact, this might sound harsh, and it is a spicier take, but I personally enjoyed the other theater release episodes of TPOT 20, BFDIA 23, and BFDIE 5 more than this episode, even if only by a bit. One is a backstory I still enjoy, even if I get why some people are disappointed by it. One is a banger final challenge, and one is just a really funny episode, all of which have an edge over the unevenness of this one. That's just how I feel though, and regardless of comparisons, I did still like TPOT 21, and I'm eager to see what TPOT will have in store in the next episode. That's all I gotta say. If you haven't, please subscribe, like, hype, share, hit that bell, comment if you have any thoughts on TPOT 21, and thank you for watching.